Kader bize planı Avustralya'ya çizmiş.
Yalancı cennet diyorlar diye öyle bir şey gibi geldi bize burası ilkten.
Dedim ki karı koca, çol çocuk Ay'a gidiliyorsa Ay'a da giderim dedim.
Hoshbulduk means that we've found you hospitable in many respects, if you look at it literally. But as inviting as what you've been, we're equally pleased that you've invited us, and we're very delighted to see you.
To me, it's like you have enlightened my spirit by you coming in as well. I'm happy that you're here.
In Turkish culture, hospitality is an important cornerstone of one's identity. When the first load of Turkish migrants set foot on Melbourne Airport, they were greeted with open arms. This alleviated their anxieties, and in years to come they were to feel quite welcomed by their host nation.
Talamarin havaalanına iniş yapacağız dediler. Öylelikle iniş yaptık ve ilk imzayı atan bizim uçak oldu.
Vallahi en az 100 kişi vardı. Bayrak tutuyordu, hoş geldiniz diye böyle Türk sesleri duyunca biz heyecanlandık, yere indik.
They got in contact with all the Turkish Cypriots who were already in Australia. And they had them come out to the airport and to meet them and to, say, well, this is how things work here. They did that for both the arrivals in Sydney and Melbourne. So there was a lot of preparation that Australia put in.
As we're meeting and coming off the tarmac, I noticed there was a woman that was looking on the ground. I said, "Teyze, have you lost something?" And I caught the word saying, "Yerden altın topluyorlar burada." Some of the promotion and advertising was a bit over the top in Turkey about, Australia and the land of wealth. And this woman obviously took it literally.
I can recall coming off the plane, it just seemed different. It seemed like very serene. It seemed very, like I said, it looked like a lot of greenery, not many people.
Aman dedi artık Türkiye'den çıktık, dönüş olur mu olmaz mı Allah bilir dediler. Ağlamaya başladılar kadınlar.
In 1967, Australia signed an agreement with the government of Turkey to accept unskilled migrants to bolster the workforce. Between 1968 and 1974, 14,192 Turks arrived in Melbourne and Sydney. The agreement was slightly complex, but in short, Turkey was looking for a way to alleviate its unemployment problem, and Australia was looking to fill the void in job vacancies.
There's an interest in emigrating from within Turkey, and Australia was looking for more people, so that's how it came about.
I think in the end the agreement was made that 30% of the immigrant intake would be classified as skilled labour and 70% would be unskilled.
These first few years were indeed one of uncertainty and adjustment. Although they were promised beautiful homes with gardens and white picket fences, their dreams were temporarily shattered when they were taken from the airport to Broadmeadows Migration Hostel, a former army barracks.
Biz ilk akşam gece saat 12'lere kadar hostelde çimlerin üzerlerinde İnanın 12-1'lere kadar oturduk. Başımızda kimse yok. Bizi bekleyen, bizim İngilizce olarak bilen hiç kimse yok. Kimi ağlar, kimi yani çok bir zor durumdaydık.
Değişik bir ülkeden iklimi değişik, kanunu değişik, lisanı değişik, her şeyi değişik. Sübhanallah, sıfırın altında İngilizce.
Bir de baktım ki evler tahta binalar, eski, fensler yıpranmış, bakımsız. Ya dedim bu mu Avustralya?
They were placed into the migrant hostels, which were often old army camps, and people were put in there as a family group. But, you know, just at a very basic level. I mean, the stories of people who said, oh, this terrible food.
Ondan sonra bizi hostellere götürdüler yani. Borutmudus'ta oteller vardı. Askeri hostesler, oteller yani. O otellerde bir hafta kaldık. Biz dayanamadık orada. Biliyorsun, bunda domuz var, bunda domuz var.
Hemen tabağı aldım, doğru yemek aldığım yere bunun içindeki yedim, bu nedir? Hani parmağımla gösteriyorum bulan. O adam bana dedi ki pork. O zaman dedim bunu sen ye dedi.
Domuz eti istemiyoruz. Domuz etinin yerine başka bir tabağa verirdi. Bir tane daha fazla yumurta verirlerdi.
Many of these new arrivals felt that they'd made a catastrophic mistake.
Hani sanki hemen havaalanından çıkmazsak geri dönecekmişiz gibiydi. Beyime dedim ki oradan da birileri ay bura pek hoş değil niye geldiniz falan dedi. Beyime dedim ki bak dedim böyle diyorlar gel çıkmadan biz geri dönelim. Beyim dedi ki bu dolmuş değil otobüs değil dedi tüyledi artık otobüsü kaçırdık geleceğiz. Yani arkadaşların öyle söylemesiyle bir sıkıntı bir bunalım bana gelmişti. Pek hoş hoş bulmadım ilk fırsatta.
İlk geldiğim ertesi gün ben müracaat ettim geri döneceğim diye. Geri dönebilirsin ama şu kadar para borcum var onu ödeyeceksin öyle döneceksin dediler. Benim o kadar param olsa zaten gelmem dedim.
The transportation and hostel costs upon arrival were afforded by the Australian government. However, if they decided to return back to Turkey prior to the end of that 2-year compulsory period, the immigrants would have had to pay the transportation costs.
The Australian intention was, of course, they'd stay. But from the Turkish perspective, although they had labour emigration, their view was that people should come back. So there had to be a bit of a diplomatic care in the way the agreement was phrased.
The first cohorts were quickly drawn to the inner city suburbs of Coburg and Flemington, where they could find cheap housing close to the General Motors plant where many ended up working.
Araba üreten bir fabrika. Oraya ben iş aldım. Ondan sonra başladık. Çalış babam çalış. 20 yıl orada çalıştım generalde.
Ford fabrikasına işe götürdüler. Oraya işe girdik. Başladı fabrika hayatına. Babam gelse, baba elini öpeyim, hoş geldin diyecek zaman yok. 15 dakika tea time. Bardağı masanın üzerine dizerler böyle. Çay, kahve neyse. Elini oradan uzatıp da bir tane kahve, çay, bir şey yakaladın. Yakalamadın, Boruşalara gel. Ford esir kampıydı.
Cumartesi akşamı geldik, o gece pazartesi, salı gün falan ben işe başladım.
Fabrikanın birinden çıktın mı öbür yanındaki fabrikaya işe girebiliyordun. Şimdiki gibi değil.
69'un 6. ayın 25'inin Haziran'da biz buraya indik yani. Buraya gelir gelmez de bize iş verdiler. Benim Greslerde çalıştı. Ben de Zora diye bir fabrika vardı, Zora Fashion diye.
Süt fabrikasında 4 sene falan çalıştım. Ondan sonra devlet su işlerine gittim. Oradan da emekli oldum.
The pay was moderate, but this allowed families to save. Many of the arrivals came from metropolitan areas and rural villages in Turkey, and the improvement in the standard of living was marked.
Ben 2 iş yaptım. Bir National Spirit'te bir de Ford fabrikasında. 2 iş yaptım. 6 ayda Allah diyorum ya doğru konu yarmıştı. 6 ayda ben çimento bir ev yaptım. Bir de arsa aldım.
O barakada birkaç hafta kaldık. Ondan sonra filat dediğimiz şeye bizi aldılar. 2 oda bir salon. Her şeyimizi hani apartman dairesi gibi gayet güzel.
Bize taze 4 odalı bir ev, 3 çocuğa 3 yatak odası, bize ayrı mutfak, tuvalet, banyo çok güzel. Hiç girilmemiş anahtar teslim ettiler bize. Orada da 23 yıl orada kaldım, emekli oldum.
Tek bir kelime İngilizce bilmiyorlar. Ceplerinde 5 kuruş para yok. Tek bir valizle gelmişler. Kendileri yüksek tahsil görmemiş. Kendileri dünyayı gezip dolaşmamışlar. Buna rağmen büyük bir cesaretle aileyi toplayıp gelmiş annem babam. 3 küçük çocukla birlikte ve bu Melbourne'a geldik. Ve ilk geldiğimiz işte bu Fitzroy flatları denen bu apartmanlarda yaşamaya başladık. Ben kendimi bildim bileli burada büyüdüm. Yani 5 yaşında geldiğim için ilk gözümü burada açtım. İlk okula burada gittim. İlk sokakta burada oynadım. İlk parkta burada oynadım. Ve hayatımız ilk önce bu Fitzroy flatlarına geçti.
In Turkish culture, when one visits a friend at their home, they're greeted with the words Hoshgeldin, meaning welcome. And the guest replies, Hoshbulduk, we feel welcomed. Then they may receive some cologne to freshen up, and then shortly after, the tea arrives.
There's always that sense of hospitality and caring, and it's just done naturally, and therefore you feel welcomed.
When you open the door and you say to them, Hoş geldin, they said, Hoshbulduk.
The first thing is the taking off the shoes.
And you shake their hand and you just go cheek to cheek. And if they're an older person, obviously, you kiss their hand.
And then there's the traditional kulanya.
And you get the kolonya, which is a cologne.
Turkish tea is a must at all times of day.
You bring out some, fruit, and you bring out some cheddars, as we call it, some peanuts or nuts.
This sense of socialising was very important for the new migrants. Each weekend was filled with visiting friends or going on picnics to the beach.
Çok gittik. Her hafta sonu buranın içme suyu var ya, oraya gezmeye gidiyorduk. Çocukları alıyorduk. Bir arkadaşımız vardı yukarıda, Mehmet Yöndemli. O bizi bindiriyordu arabaya. Orada barbekü falan yapıp çocukları eğlendirip geliyordu.
Her pazar pikniğe giderdik yazın. Yağmur yağmadığı müddetçe pikniğe giderdik. Mesela akşamları ev gezmesi, hiçbir zaman tek kişi bir eve çay içmeye gitmezdi. 3-4 aile birden giderdik. Hem de o zaman telefon yoktu. Çat kapı gidilirdi.
This was an important ritual that gave the community a sense of connection and even nostalgia.
Turkish Australians have a nostalgia for the earlier days. What they're basically missing, where Turks were more communitarian. Regularly they went to picnics, they visited one another a lot more.
For many Turks, they had never lost connection with their homeland, and many had intentions to go back after just a few years.
Gelişimizdeki mantık, yani düşüncemiz 5 sene çalışıp bir ev parası biriktirip tekrar memlekete dönmekti. 50 sene yaklaştık gidiyoruz ya. Ve hala buradayız ya. Çünkü çocuklar büyüyor, okula başlıyor, durumlar değişiyor. Buraya etapta oluyorsun ve dönmeyi aklından çıkarıyorsun.
Ben orada yetiştiğim, oranın kültürüyle büyüdüğüm için orayı her an için halen de hiçbir zaman bu sözümü şey etmem. Buraya şükrediyor Allah'ın verdiği rızka. Fakat memleketim, orası bambaşka vatan. Burası da vatanımız, öyle diyelim.
However, for those who realised going back was no longer an option, they continued their interest with the motherland, kept in contact with relatives, and closely monitored politics and events in the country. For almost every family, SBS radio became a ritual at 3 p.m. each afternoon when they would switch on the radio and listen to the Turkish news.
People would listen out for the SBS evening news bulletin at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, whatever time of day it was, once a day, right? That was your main source, and that was what you tune into without exception.
This was how they learnt about what was happening back home. Before the advent of the internet, families relied on letters which could take months to receive a reply. For the older folk, the dream of one day returning never left their heart. Today, many are in their 70s and 80s, and although they did not return permanently, they have gone back several times over the years, and some go back every year.
Sen her 6 ayda bir gidiyorduk işte. Sen her sene gidiyorduk. Özlüyorsun insanları. Gidiyoruz, oradan mutlu oluyoruz 6 ay. Oradan gezeceğimiz yere gidiyoruz, Kayseri'ye gidiyoruz, Çorum'a gidiyoruz.
Sıkılmaya başladık. Özlem başladı. Aileden Irak olmadan ayrı bir sitem, sıkıntı. Hasılı hayat devam etti. Denedik. Çoluk çocuğumu aldım götürdüm Türkiye'ye. Yapamadık.
Ama bazıları geri döndüler, iş kurdular. Birkaç sene durdular, geri gelip bozup dağıtıp geri gelenler oldu. Temelli gidenler oldu.
Annelerimiz, babalarımız buraya geçici bir süreliğine gelme niyetiyle geldikleri için hani 1 yıl, 2 yıl, en fazla 3 yıl diye düşünüyorlardı. İlk yıllarda yatırım yapmıyorlardı. Sadece para biriktiriyorlardı. Çalışıp para biriktiriyorlardı. Çocuklarıyla da fazla ilgilenemiyorlardı ilk 1-2 yıl için. Ama daha sonra anlaşıldı. Yani bir gerçek kabul edildi. Hatta toplum arasında, Türkler arasında ev alanlara niye ev alıyorsun? Sen buraya kazık mı çakacaksın? Hani Türkiye'ye geri gidecektin? Gavur olacaksın. Hatta gavur olacaksın diye söylentiler vardı. Birçoğu Türk de o yüzden ilk yıllarda yatırım yapmadı.
Herkes buraya 2 sene, 3 sene, 5 sene çalışalım, para yapıp geri gidelim. Ve o beyninde yerleştiği için rahmetli babam hiçbir zaman ev alma niyeti yoktu. Para biriktirmeye geldi.
Herkes bana kızdı. Ev aldı, işte gavur oldu, vatandaş oldu, tamamen gavur oldu dediler. Ama elhamdülillah gavur olmadık.
In the early 70s, it was almost taboo to buy a car, telephone, a house, definitely. To become an Australian citizen, that was a no-no.
In 1960s and 70s, they had this dream that one day eventually they will return to Turkey. Impacted upon the attitudes of Turkish people, impacted upon the isolation. That was the one reason why they isolated themselves from the broader community. And that's why they were more communitarian. They also are missing that dream of returning to Turkey permanently, where they do not longer have that dream anymore.
Ben şunu sormuştum Yunanlı'ya. Peki dedim sen kaç seneden beri buradasın? Ben dedi 15 seneden beri buradayım. Ya dedim bu ne sabır böyle? 15 yıldır dedim, bu ülkedesin, hala buradasın. O zaman söyledi bana 5 sene sonra sen de aynı benim gibi düşüneceksin diye.
Others opted to live in and around Broadmeadows. Broadmeadows today, however, is still the hub of the Turkish community, where ensuing generations raise their families who want to be close to their grandparents and to the various amenities such as the mosques and schools.
Broadmeadows was one of the areas that Turks began to settle after migrating to Australia. It's because it provided cheap housing in those days, and it was close to where Turks work.
We were a municipality which was established as a company town, basically, at the end of the railway line. Had a lot of big businesses that were out here, the Ford factory, the Nestle factory, the Ericsson factory as well, and a lot of these businesses and the community which came into this area were working class people.
Broadmeadows has sort of like become this existential place which enabled to maintain the sense of the hard-working Turkish identity.
Nereye gitse karşımıza Türk çıkıyor. Tercüman bulması kolay oluyordu. Herhangi bir zorluk çekmiyorduk onun için. Arkadaşlarla da iyi anlaşıyorduk. Hep bir araya geliyorduk. O şeye gidenler, Flemington flatlarına filan gidenler, onlar da hep bizlere geliyorlardı. Dışarıya gidenler de hep bizlere geliyor. Buralardan ev tutuyor, buralarda kalıyordu. Hani bir arada olmak için.
School was tough in those days. Not being able to speak the language and being a foreigner attracted taunts and bullying from the other kids.
I'd get teased a lot. You know, turkey, turkey, turkey, gobble, gobble. We'd cop that a lot at school. And also get into fights with a lot of Greeks.
I'll never forget that moment. Probably 15 or 20 of my Australian friends surrounded myself and Erkan, and they gave us a great beating for being Turks.
Tease yaparlardı. Hani gobble gobble wog ismimi söylüyorum Ergün diye diyemiyorlardı. Ögün. Bir de tease yapıyorlar ya Gögün, Küün, Cögün falan diye. Ben de dedim ki bir daha okul değiştirirsem muhakkak bir takma isim koyacağım kendime. Ergün değildi, bana de arkadaşlar, yabancılar Eric diyorlar.
I went to Broadmeadows Religious School. I went to Broadmeadows Mosque. I was there till high school. I'm very proud of that background. However, I also had a passion in sports. So time management required me to do English school, Turkish school, religious school, university and sports.
Eventually, you know, when I went to high school and stuff, that's what I did. I went into computer science and information systems and got my IT degree and all that sort of stuff. So when I was 18, I knew what I wanted to do.
As many of the workers got employment in the same companies, the need to speak English became less, which disincentivised the need to study English courses, although they were available for those who could find the time. Many of the parents used their eldest child to act as interpreter, whether it was for opening a bank account, attending the doctor, engaging with the landlord, or applying for a home loan.
So whenever they required an interpreter, a translator, would often go to a family and ask for their child if their children were too young. And in those years, a lot of families had either no children or children that were just toddlers. You know, being 7, 8, 9 was fairly old, fairly big. And so we were given the task of looking for jobs, going to work and asking for jobs, going to the doctor, lawyer sometimes even, and act as translators.
Some were fortunate to have Greek neighbours or colleagues who had lived in Turkey and could speak the language.
So they were all moving into factories. And that was interesting in some ways because those were quite multicultural settings. Because there were Greeks, there were Italians and others.
And the Greeks that knew English would help them out as well. So it was a win-win for them.
Language was a problem, just simply filling in forms. I remember my father would be endlessly filling in forms.
Work was plentiful, and while it was hard work, the Turks made a reputation for being good workers who didn't complain and, generally speaking, were competent in whichever job they were assigned.
But it was made on the basis of the kind of positive record or reputation that Turkish guest workers in Germany as well as in other European countries had built. A reputation as good workers, look how they're contributing to our industrialization, and that was the justification that led the Australian immigration minister to make that final decision on seeing Turks as acceptable migrants.
The pay was good for those times. The income for a factory worker was $55 a week and rent was about $20 a week. A loaf of bread or bottle of milk was only 20 cents and petrol 9 cents a litre.
Yani sütün litresi şimdi 3,5 dolar. O zamanlar süt, 1 litre süt veya 2 litre süt belki 10 sent, 20 sent idi. Geçim kolaydı ama masrafımız da azdı.
Eşim makarna fabrikasında çalışıyordu. Aldığı 30-33 dolardı. Ben ise bahsettiğim gibi General Motor Disco'da çalışıyordum afternoon. Aldığım 60 dolar bir şeydi. Ama eşimin almış olduğu para hem kiramızı, hem yememizi, hem içmemizi yetiyordu yani.
Also, there were the Turkish Cypriots who were already established in Melbourne. They played a key role in assisting the development of the 1968 to 1974 mainland Turkish cohorts.
The Cypriot Turks who played an incredible role in the integration and settlement of Turks, from the Turkish community from the mainland, an incredible role. They all had to be, looked after, shown services, translations, courts, hospitals, police, all these sorts of things.
Everybody, whether you knew the person or not, you would go and welcome people that were coming over from Turkey or from Cyprus.
Others came from outside of Turkey, such as the Western Thrace Turks in Greece, who came mostly by sea rather than by air with their own paid tickets.
My parents came on a boat back in 1970 with 50 families. And just recently, actually, in the book that I saw, we saw the boat, a picture of it, and the families coming. I thought, wow, this is amazing.
Bize yapılan baskılar neticesinde buraya göç etmeye karar verdim.
We were ethnic Turks living in Greece. It's called Batı Trakya or Western Thrace, and back in the 1920s there was a government formed. It was called Batı Trakya Türk Cumhuriyeti, which was the first Turkish republic ever established, but it only lasted about 52 days.
The Batı Trakya community, we're very close, very, very close. Like I said, that community was the Batı Trakya community. It wasn't any other Turkish community. In fact, I didn't even know other Turkish communities. I just knew of ours.
One particular group of about 40 single men arrived from the region known as Urdu on the Black Sea. They came as tourists and ended up staying, eventually returning to Turkey and bringing their spouses back with them.
In that group of 40, there were mostly uncles and all people within the same town. And so, and we all lived within 2 or 3 streets of each other in Brunswick. If it wasn't 2 or 3 streets, it might be 10 streets, but everybody knew where everybody else lived. It was a very close community.
Over time, the Turkish community's needs began to increase, with the need for Turkish language and cultural schools and sporting clubs and religious institutions.
İlk Ramazan'ı bilemedik. Oruç tutalım mı, saat kaçtadır, takvim yok, hoca yok, hiçbir kimse yok. Çok zorlandık ilk zamanlar.
Mesela din çok önemli bir faktör. İlk yaptıkları iş okuldan evvel cami kurmaktı.
And in 1970, a small house in Coburg was purchased and used as a mosque. However, by 1976, the community had swelled and they pooled their resources to build the first mosque in Coburg, established by the Turkish community. Coburg Mosque is currently undergoing renovations and has been completely redesigned, creating a modern state-of-the-art structure.
Nicholson Street'teki camiyi bizlerin desteğiyle yapıldı onlar. O beylerimiz çalışıyordu, Ramazan demiyorlardı, bir şey demiyorlardı.
Türk İslam Cemiyeti nasıl cami yapacağız, nasıl bir cami yapacağız, ne kadar büyüklükte bir cami yapacağız, bu caminin finansmanı nasıl olacak, parayı nereden bulacağız, hadi benden bir $50 al maaşım diye her hafta orada fikir teatisinde bulunurlardı. Bir çareler, çözümler üretmeye çalışırlardı.
In Broadmeadows, another mosque was established on King Street, which came under the influence of Diyanet, which is the Department of Religious Affairs in Turkey. The Diyanet supplies an imam or priest to lead the mosque activities and rotates every 4 years.
Maaşını devletimiz öder ama diğer sponsorluk şeyleri ve sorumluları cemiyete aittir.
Turkey has a Directorate of Religious Affairs, Diyanet İşleri Başkanlığı in Turkish, which was created right at the beginning of the Republic. In fact, a year after the Republic was established, in 1924, the Diyanet was founded. So it's a tremendously important state institution. And from 1970s onwards, Diyanet started creating its transnational presence in Australia.
By the late 70s and early 80s, halal butchers, kebab shops, restaurants and Turkish grocery stores sprung up along Sydney Road in Brunswick.
Geniş bir ağımız olduğu için Türk yemekleri çok zengin bir yemek şeyine sahibiz. Avustralyalarda yemek kültürü yok. Mesela İtalyanlar, Türkler bunlarda var. Dolayısıyla gerçekten de Türklerde damak tadına hitap edecek çok güzel yemekler yapıyorlar. Bu yüzden de zannediyorum ki elbette ki Türk yemekleri de tutuluyor.
Sonra dedi ki biz beraber bir şeyler yapalım. Yemek sektörü olur ya da bir başka sektör olur diye. Sonra Allah böyle bir yer nasip etti. Biz de dedik ki girelim. Dedik girelim, hani kaybedecek bir şey yok.
Education was regarded as very important for Turkish parents. But in the first few years, the eldest child was often required to enter work straight after completing Year 10 to help the family. However, once established, parents strongly encouraged their younger children to attend university and pursue a professional career.
Families thinking they'd only be in Australia a few years, so everybody had to get to work, earn money and take back. So that meant there was pressure on the children to leave school as soon as they were old enough to do so.
Okuldan ben erken ayrıldım. Ya ilk oldu, bitirdi, bıraktım. Ondan sonra 10 sene Şapudan'da domates annem babamla beraber çalıştık.
Back then you went straight into work. She worked in factories from what I know. My aunties and my uncle, they all went to school, but my mum, she was the oldest child, so she worked.
Marriage was also a big issue. As their children reached maturity, parents began looking overseas for a spouse. So girls and boys were sent back home to get married. This was not always ideal, as there tended to be a clash of cultures for the children who were brought up in Australia and the spouses who came from Turkey.
Öbürleri Türkiye'den geldi. Askere diye gittiler. Orada işte amcalarımızın dede tarafından olan kızları, akraba yani.
Türkiye'den getirdik. Kızı da Türkiye'den getirdik.
Evlendirdik ikinci oğlanı. Evlendirdik, onlar oraya koyduk. Onların işlemlerini geldik biz burada yaptırdık. Geldik 1-2 ay sonra da onlar çıktı geldi.
By also bringing a groom and the bride from Turkey, they also believe that they are able to preserve their Turkishness as well in Australia. Like they would believe that someone from Turkey would be more obedient, more traditional, and they would be able to pressure their children to preserve their Turkishness.
For the next generation of young Turks growing up in Australia, some questions arose around identity and belonging. Were they Turks or Australians? How did they balance their Turkish and Islamic cultures as an Australian in a predominantly Christian society?
Young people that I meet, in my sort of institution, they're really, again, proud to say that they have Turkish origins.
In the end, they're going to make a choice. And, some people like to think that the Turks are going to be Turks in Australia for the next 1,000 years.
Sometimes affects me the way that I see myself, what really or who really am I? I just try to explain it to the best extent possible, but usually I just say I'm Turkish. When I'm in my family, I'm at home, I'm around Turkish friends or at the Turkish mosque, I'd say 100%. I embrace that side of me. But apart from that, when I'm at work or at university, it always feels a bit different. It feels like I'm just Australian and I look a bit different and I speak another language.
For me, it's a bit of the new and the old. The old coming from my parents' side and the new coming from what we've created growing up. And looking at my kids as well, I can pretty much see, the next generation moving on for them, what it means to be, Turkish Australian. They'll definitely have another explanation. Everyone's got their own stories, so that's how I see it. It's more like an evolution because so many things change from one generation to the next.
Turkish Australians began to make their mark in various industries, and entrepreneurs like Crazy John Ilhan made the top rich list, running a successful mobile phone business. Turks also developed businesses in the food industry, particularly in fine Turkish cuisine, which quickly became an Australian favourite.
A lot of Turkish restaurants are hitting the mark. So you've got, like in Melbourne here, you've got a couple of really great restaurants that are showing the Turkish culture and the food. I think slowly they're growing. When you start up a business, it's not easy. I remember working 24, 40 hours straight with no breaks, trying to get the business up and running. My grandfather always used to tell me stories of the best yogurts that he had tasted in the area. And he always used to mention Sahara Yeğlası. So that's where I got the name Sahara from.
Turks also entered politics, notably Victoria's first Turkish minister, the Honourable Mr John Eden MP.
In 2002 I was elected to the upper house of the Victorian Parliament, and that lasted from 2002 to 2006, of which then from 2006 I went into the lower house seat that I'm in now, which is the seat of Lara. I've been representing this area for the last, I suppose 16 years. Next year will be 20-year anniversary for me in being in Parliament. Next year I've announced that I'll be retiring from politics because of my diagnosis with Parkinson's, and it's time to give some family time, some quality family time.
Today we have a number of state MPs and councillors who are currently serving the state. Natalie Suleiman was elected to office in 2018 and is originally from Cyprus, making her the first Turkish Cypriot woman elected to office in Victoria.
I'm the daughter of Turkish Cypriot migrants who arrived here in the 1970s as Australian Turks, to be able to make our mark wherever we are, whether it's in politics, whether it's in sport, whether it's in journalism, whether it's in, in the legal sector and corporate sector, and the list goes on. The contribution of Australian Turks in Victoria and nationally is quite significant. I'm very grateful for the sacrifice of my mum and dad. They, arriving here with nothing more than a suitcase, working hard for us so that we can fulfil our dreams and our aspirations. I'm forever grateful for their courage and their sacrifice that they made.
Çok uzak. Çok uzak bir yere geldik. Ama tutunduk, yaşadık. İlk geldiğimizde annelerimiz, babalarımız özellikle çok büyük sıkıntılar çektiler. Dünyanın ta öbür ucuna gelmiş oldular.
Ellerimle büyüttüğüm, solarken dirilttiğim çiçeğimi kopardın sen, ellere verdin. Çiçeğimi kopardın sen, ellere verdin. Dağlar dağlar, kurban olam, yol ver geçem. Sevdiğimi son bir olsun, yakından gören. Dağlar
More than 55 years since the Australian-Turkish Migration Treaty was signed, Australian Turks can look back and comfortably say, Hoshbulduk, we feel welcomed. This is a remarkable testament to a migration story that had many challenges which were overcome. And today, the Turkish people of Victoria stand out as model citizens.
Kar mı yağdı güvendiğin dağlara? Seni de bir türlü umdurmadı mı kader? Üzme her şeye rağmen kendini, dünya yaşamaya değer.
Mutluydum, huzurluydum, nasıl kıydın, anlat bana.